Hello, everybody. This is take 3 trying to get the video that I need to get. Okay, basically, I'm going to give a little bit of information. Recently, I have been accused of being an asshole on a regular basis, blah, 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 so on and so forth. One of my clients was visited by a person who considers himself to be professional, claiming to be of professional background, claiming that I was an asshole towards him and that I made my client look bad because I was driving one of my client's vehicles. Okay. Well, the reason for this video is to make sure that my client gets a copy of what went down and exactly who was really being an asshole and who wasn't. Now, mind you, this. You will also notice that there's 2 other individuals in the video as well that are being total jerks. One you'll be able to hear, one you won't. The one that you are able to hear, you'll hear him from time to time, plain and clear. Sometimes you won't. Now, mind you this. There is 2 things I said. One thing that I said not loud enough to be heard by anybody anyways. And that being actually a lot. And then there's the one and only could be considered unprofessional, but in all reality, it's just me letting him know he was alive. I informed the person who went to my client and made a complaint that was ridiculous at best. It will show him being very rude to me, and then you will hear me saying, by the way, you're YouTube famous. Me letting him know that he was live. It wasn't me trying to be an asshole. It wasn't me doing anything other than informing him. I would say that that's my only reason. Now, mind you this, at the beginning of the video, you will also hear me saying, have a good one, to another individual. The reason why I went ahead and kept that in the video to where I could show it here when I go to screen share is straight up because of one simple fact. And that being that I wanted to show that I was not doing anything unprofessional. I was treating everybody with courtesy that treated me with courtesy that night. And since there's only 3 encounters, one with the 2 guys by the 2 pickups and one with the guy in the blue muscle car and then the red sports car that will be seen at the beginning of this video, the one that I said, have a good one to, that was the only times I even actually had to deal with anybody. The only encounters, in other words. So I wanted to make sure they was all in there for sure. I'm going to go ahead and screen share. I want you to understand that, yes, I will pause from time to time to say certain things that need to be said. However, other than that, it will play. Now, the first thing you'll see is me saying, have a good one, to a person in a red sports car that had been asked to move his vehicle earlier in the night politely, and he moved his vehicle without any delay. No problems. He left his vehicle there, let us know that to watch it for him while he left. We did just that. We kept an eye on it, and then when he came back, he got into his vehicle, started it up, left, and said, have a good day. So I said it back. one? Oh, wait. I said have a good one, and he said have a good night back. We had some vehicles. HAC951. That would be me taking the tag number of one of the trucks because they had already started mouthing off to me. Give me just a second. I've got to back it up just a tad. So, yeah. But, yeah. Sorry about that. Have a good one. We had some vehicles. HAC951. The individuals in those two pickups is Jason Braun. He goes on the CB Channel 19 as Lil Abner. There is a previous conflict between myself and these two on the CB that they chose to come up to my client's property and cause me problems, cause me grief. It just didn't work. Which is the newer Ford pickup. The older Chevy pickup is Robert Meacham. He goes by Bad Bobby on, once again, Channel 19 on the CB. You're getting ready to hear a lot of his voice. Trust me. That was him saying he might be there for a while, and you'll see why here in a few. He said that. You may also hear me say wrap your ass in fiberglass about a Corvette. Yeah, that's me. I don't like the newer model Corvettes. I'd rather have metal. So, yeah. Here comes the Black Widow again. That would be my helper there, going to get my other phone so that I can contact law enforcement to deal with the two causing the biggest problem. Actually, there is a lot. This is a 24-hour car wash. I'm fixing to back this up here in a minute. I'm going to be here a while. Oh, you better start putting some money in then. And by the way, I had already texted my client, the owner of the car wash, and he said that if they are not paying customers, then I do not have to let them stay there and talk trash to me. So I was well within my rights to say what I said because I had already gotten clarification from the owner of the property, not only earlier in the night when before the whole event started, but also just moments before, which is why you'll see that from time to time I have some glitches. I'm getting text messages from my client because he's watching me and listening to every single word I was saying on a PTZ camera with microphone that was, probably about 8 foot behind me and about 8 to 10 feet in the air above me. So, yeah, I would say I was being well watched. And even the officers that showed up earlier in the evening, even they said that they could see that somebody was moving the camera around and all that good stuff. So, okay. I put it in the best way I could to keep from being attitudinal in any way, shape, or form. I just said it outright. Better start putting some money in. You'll also notice that in this video, from time to time, you see the guy in the light t-shirt with a bottle of water, but from time to time, you see him with a can. He was drinking. He drove up there, drank some more, and then while washing his truck down, supposedly, when all he did was spray it down to make it look like he was doing something, he chunked the cans of beer cans into the trash can. Because of the fact that they were not found on his vehicle, in his vehicle, so on and so forth, there was nothing the cops could do, even though they could see that he had put them out there in the trash can, because they didn't see him drinking. They didn't have proof that he's the one that put him in the trash can, so on and so forth. The guy in the newer model Ford that's in a dark colored shirt and a pair of shorts, well, he was also drinking. And, yep, he threw him into the trash can when he backed his vehicle up into the same stall that the Chevy went into after the Chevy pulled out. I do not have that on camera. I was on the phone with the owner at the time, and he called in, so I had to cancel the video out. But I wished I had gotten it on film, because, yeah, he literally purposely and willfully turned the one in the Chevy, turned the water wand towards me and sprayed me with the high pressure rinse, trying to destroy my phone and the evidence at the same time. Obviously, it didn't work, because my phone was not able to be sprayed at that time. Now, mind you this, the car entering the frame, this is actually the blue muscle car in question that he went up to one of my other clients and tried. Oh, by the way, the two in the pickups, just to let everybody know, they didn't get away with it. They are trespassed from the property 100%, not just by me, but by the owners of the property, who said that they agreed with me that the personal problems between myself and them should have never made it onto the property, because I did not invite them up there to cause problems. I did not invite them up there in any way, shape, or form. The only reason why they showed up was because this guy called them and had them show up to watch his back and all that good stuff. It didn't work out for him. It didn't work out for them either. But he went up to one of my other clients, the guy in the muscle car coming in, and made a complaint against me, saying that I was rude, crude, and obnoxious towards him. Listen to the voice that he is using with me. He's an ex-city council member for the city of North Enid, Oklahoma. Not Enid, North Enid. And this is the way he acts, because he thinks that because he's ex-city council, possibly current city council even, that he deserves to get away with everything. Just like he did earlier in the night when I asked him. Well, first, My helper asked him to move, and he told her in no uncertain terms was he going to move because he would move when he chose to, even though my client had already called me and instructed me to make him move because he was blocking an entrance, and he was not just pulling out behind people, he was actually blocking it. Then when I got back to the property after doing what I had to do, I was told to make him move again by the client. Not the client he contacted, but the client of the property that he's pulling onto right here in this video. I walked over. I said, "You need to move. My client has instructed me to have you move and to keep these entrances clear for vehicles to come in and out as they please. And the only way this will work out and be able to continue to happen for these Van Buren cruises is if the people actually do what they're supposed to and move when they're asked to move, keep the bays clear, keep the entrances clear, and make sure that business can go on as normal." He then in turn looked at me and said, "No, I'm not going to move. I will move when I want to move." Once again, because he thinks he can get away with whatever he pleases. Well, he has gotten away with it somewhat, but his buddies didn't. And as far as he is concerned, this video is my evidence to keep him from getting away with lying about me, because he's going to show his true self in this video. And my other client, not the one that owns this property, but another client of mine, will finally get to see the video that proves that I was not attitudinal. He was. Make sure you get that. And then, by the way, we don't have a record at all. Huh? North England. I was doing that because I told that somebody got an attitude with her. That was now I'm going to have to back it up a tad bit, but to let you hear what I said back to him. However, before I back it up to where you guys can actually see what I said back to him, I want to point out that he was the one threatening to whoop my ass. But I was the one in the bad that night. Don't make no sense. A lot of friends. I like my good friend right here. This guy right here. This guy right here. That's an upstanding fucking citizen. That's what he said. Pulls up with attitude, gets out with attitude. Huh? North England. I was doing that because I told that somebody got an attitude with her. That was famous. And that skipping right there was once again another message coming in from the owner of the property in this video. And that message was saying, "Call the police and get the 2 pickups tag numbers." Get ready to see some more attitude, because that so-called fine, upstanding citizen is getting ready to pill out of my client's property with attitude once again, because he thinks he can get away with anything he chooses. Now let's rewind that just a tad here, because I'm supposedly the one that's the bad guy in this whole thing. Oh shoot, went way back.
That was oh, there's the famous. Where's the birthday shirt?
Here he goes to back his vehicle into a car wash bay. I wonder if I got more of this. That would be me on the phone, on a separate phone with the police department, the Enid Police Department. I'm kind of hoping I got a little bit more video than I thought I did. And by that, what I mean is having video of him fake washing his vehicle. If you notice, there is two shadows. This phone that was taking the video is being held by the shorter shadow, and I was holding a secondary phone. That is not the same vehicle as was in there prior.
But I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. This thing's basically over.
Okay. Now, anybody wants to say something about it, say what you will. Say what you want. I don't care. That's the video. Because of the fact that I did not take the camera with me to deal with everybody up there, because I didn't really deal with very many people up there anyways, the camera stayed on what it was meant to be staying on, the car show, until it was no longer necessary to have it on the car show, because the car show was almost over and it was needed elsewhere. I picked my phone back up and I videoed 3 individuals who were being very unprofessional, 2 of which were trespassed from the property that night, and then the owners of the property, when they contacted them, called up EPD and clarified with EPD that they were going to also want them trespassed from the property. not just me, because they chose to take a personal thing and bring it onto their property, which I'm glad my clients was willing to agree with me on that, because not my clients don't always agree with me in general. uh, I can tell them, hey, you need cameras in this area too, and some of my clients will say, oh, okay, go, yeah, we'll get that done. Or you need to finish off this gate, make it where people can't walk in and out, and they might say, we'll do it when we can. But then there's those occasions where they will choose to actually agree with me 100%. And they agreed with me 100% that, and they've seen this video. I did not act inappropriately. They agreed with that. They agreed that these individuals showed up with the sole intent to cause problems. And they agreed that they needed to be trespassed and passed from the property. And they were told so by the owners of the property. The police department said they'd type it up, and when the owners contacted them and said yes or no, they would go ahead and trespass them. But until the owners contacted them, it'd just be in the report that I wanted them trespassed, and that the owners would be contacting them separately. They did. They got them trespassed. They are no longer allowed on the property. If I'm ever able to get the name and tag number of the third individual, the one in the car that sped off, I will be able to, at that point, also have him trespassed, because he did squill tires on the property, which is not allowed. So it's one of those cases, the evidence is right there. I was not the one getting an attitude with people. They were getting attitudes with me. I don't know how else to show it or prove it other than to play this video that I got an email because of some stuff that was said by other people in the beginning of this video. I did have some complaints on it, and this video has been made to where the full video cannot be seen by anybody other than myself, because YouTube said that it was not completely within their policies, and because of that, I was to remove it. So I removed it. I made it private. I then took the time to skip through some of the bad language and some of the other things that was seen in the video prior, including but not limited to scantily clad females, for lack of a better terminology, that was seen in the video, which is actually the reason why it did not meet YouTube standards. Yeah, driving down the road and during a Van Buren cruise, you can see all kinds of things, trust me. But the fact of the matter is simple and sweet and hard to beat. I have proven my point that I was in the right to one client, and now this video hopefully will prove beyond a shadow of doubt that, once again, I was in the right, and the person making the unfounded complaint against me was in the wrong. If he really wanted to be taken seriously, maybe he should have made the complaint and not came and threatened to whoop my ass. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe he did that to try to keep me from putting this video out. I don't know. All I know is that I have done what I was being, well, somewhat paid to do, where And the reason why I say that is because, well, when your clients don't have to pay you because you got uh, trade going on, you kind of get paid, you kind of don't. You get paid in the form of trade. That's all I can say about that, to be bluntly honest, because I'm not going to say exactly what the trade deal is. It's not my point to tell everybody everything. But yeah, I was kind of paid to keep the peace up there. I tried to keep the peace, and I did have to call the cops, not once but twice. The first time I called them is what brought the two guys in the pickup trucks up, and the second call was on them. I had literally three issues. One that was with a totally different person. And once the officer showed up and said, yes, I did have the right to ask the people to move, they moved their vehicle very quickly because the officers already knew that I was up there and what I was doing and everything. They had already been on the phone with the owners of the property. The second occasion or incident was with the guy in the blue muscle car, which was not the original incident was not caught on film, obviously, because the phone was plugged up and charging when that happened, while at the same time as recording. But I did get this incident on and captured, as well as the incident with the two individuals in the pickups, the Ford and the Chevy. Once again, their names are Jason Braun and Robert Meacham, also known as Little Abner and Bad Bobby on the CB. You also got the individual in the blue muscle car. I don't remember his name. I've talked to him many times in the past, and he usually does not treat me that way. But he owns what I guess you could call it a small car lot and body shop over on North 4th Street in North Enid, Oklahoma. He's an ex-North Enid City Council member, so on and so forth. He brags about getting out of tickets by telling the cops who he is and what his job title was as a council member. He brags about being talking down to cops. He brags about all the vehicles he owns. I don't know how else to put it, but in this manner. If he's an ex-city council member, maybe he should have a little bit more decorum, though. Because one day he may want to try to get and become a city council member again, if he's not a current city council member. So he should have had a lot more decorum, even more decorum than myself. But when you purposely and willfully go out and claim that I was driving around being an asshole in one of my other clients' vehicles, and you can plainly see that the other client's vehicle is parked, I'm not in it, one, and two, I'm not being an asshole. That's not a good thing to do. It really isn't. Because not only are you lying about me being in the vehicle, being an asshole, but all you're really doing is you're purposely and willfully attempting to cost me a client, which is illegal. It's one of the things that could be said about that is he was trying to blackball me because he is trying to cost me my client. But he was also putting himself in a position to where if I had lost that client because of his lies, I should say, because he lied about me driving around and he lied about me being an asshole. If I had lost the client that he lied to, I could have then sued his ass royal for a loss of income. I can still get him for slander and libel, though, because he lied about me and defamed my character. Defamation of character isn't something that he wants on his record. I control myself a heck of a lot better when I'm working for somebody than I do when I'm not working for somebody. And what I mean by that is if I was on that property for any other reason than I was on that property for, yeah, I could have been a real jerk to everybody and I wouldn't have cared. Because if I'm going to be it, I might as well be it. But because I was there and I was kind of getting paid to do a job, I did it correctly and professionally. Everything that I did and said was after getting a text message from the owners allotting me the ability to do or say what I did. I didn't call the cops without being told to. I didn't tell a person that if they was going to be up there, they was going to have to put money in to continue to be up there. I did that with consent. I was ordered to have the guy in the blue muscle car clear the exit. I didn't go over there and do it because I wanted to. I did it because I was told to. He didn't move when he was asked by my helper. He didn't move when I was nice and kind and asked him to move because the owners want to keep that opening open. He said he would do it when he wants to. My exact words to him at that point was, no, you will move it now. The owners are watching. They want the entrance / exit cleared and kept cleared. They called me and told me to get you to move. Or actually, they texted me, but still, same thing. They contacted me and told me to get him to move. Okay? And he's going to say that I was being an asshole because I was doing what I was told to do? Really? Maybe he should look up the definition because his definition's messed up royally. And that's just me being honest. His definition is messed up royally because he actually thinks that I was being an asshole when I was only doing what I was told to do. And when you tell a person who's been told by the owner of the property that you're going to do it when you want, yeah, you might as well start getting ready to hear somebody say, no, you will do it now. It's not his property. He doesn't have the authority to do it when he wants. He does it when he's told to by the person that is running that property. And that night, I was the one running that property. Management services comes with a lot of things. I do management services. I've done it for years. I manage multiple properties. People can say what they want to say about me, and as long as it doesn't cost me anything, I'm not going to do a dang thing about it. I'm just going to sit there and do what I got to do. But he has cost me something. He has cost me the respect of one of my clients by lying to that client and going in and saying that I was driving around that client's vehicle being an asshole. 2 lies right there in one big fell swoop, and it cost me the respect of my client. A lot of people, money is the number one thing that they worry about. I don't care as much about money as I do respect. You cost me the respect of one of my clients, be ready to be blasted. Because everywhere I can blast you, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere I can blast you, I'm going to make sure everybody knows who you are and what you're like. And I'm not going to do it by telling them. I'm going to show them. See, my vehicle, well, any vehicle I drive, to be exact, and even in that truck that night, there was a dash cam. My dash cam records from the time the ignition goes on to the time the ignition goes off, and then records anytime it detects motion inside or outside of the vehicle. It records both video and audio. It's the only way I'll drive a vehicle, because I don't want people being able to say, oh, he was at fault for that accident, or he was at fault for this. I want to be able to prove who was at fault. In fact, a portion of that video, when it comes to the full video itself, while I was driving around, I actually had my dash cam ran to my computer and was using my dash cam as an IP or as a Wi-Fi camera, or not Wi-Fi, but webcam, to be able to video everything in front of me. I don't understand why people sit there and have to make up lies and try to make people look bad when all they would really actually need to do is either tell the truth or don't think that you should be able to get away with whatever you please just because you're either a current or ex-acting city council member. Oh, I don't know how to put it other than to say he was lacking a whole lot of decorum. Now, mind you, this, 2 things I said, I can do a lot, as well as you're YouTube famous now, may not have been completely right, but it was not 100% lacking decorum. What he said and what he did was 100% lacking decorum. And if he wants to claim that I was an asshole, I would love to see his video. Because I got video that I just played for everyone here on YouTube that and comes and watches it, that shows 100% that I was not being an asshole. I shouldn't have had to do this. I shouldn't have needed to do this, but I had no choice, because I've got a client that keeps on telling me about this guy coming and talking about me being an asshole and all, when I wasn't even an asshole. If I was an asshole, then I would have probably responded to his threat with a threat right back. But I responded by saying, "You're YouTube famous." That's it. And that was just me letting him know that it was live. And to be bluntly honest, maybe it was the YouTube famous statement that made him go to my other client, and make a complaint because he wanted to beat me to the punch. But I already beat him to the punch by having it going live to begin with. And by keeping it, instead of deleting it when I was told to take it down off of YouTube, instead of deleting it, I kept it as private, moved it to being private, I should say, and kept it to where I could go in and be able to show what actually happened or occurred, however you want to put it, that night. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to need it, but why get rid of it? It might be needed. Anybody who happens to want to comment on this video, go right ahead. I have no problems with that. Like I said, I had no choice in this case. That's as simple as I can put it. If that's a problem, sorry. But I want the respect of my client back. And the only way I'm going to get that is to prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I was not the one being unprofessional that night, and that what he said about me was a lie. Later.